Get ready to unlock some serious financial know-how with The Law of Financial Success.
I love this book.
Me too! And you know what I love about it? It's not some get-rich-quick scheme. It's about understanding the laws that govern wealth.
Just like gravity, right?
Exactly, just like gravity. And the best part, once you understand those laws, you can use them to your advantage.
It's all about harnessing that power. Kind of like that Napoleon quote. Nothing is too grand for a soldier of France.
Oh, yeah, I love that story.
The book starts with this soldier, right? He's offered Napoleon's prize horse. And at first, he hesitates. Thinks he's not worthy.
It's easy to fall into that trap thinking we don't deserve good things.
Exactly. But Napoleon reminds him, greatness is within reach if you believe in yourself.
Mm.
And I think the same goes for financial success. Our beliefs, they really do shape our reality.
So true. We've got to ditch those limiting beliefs. Like, remember that old saying, money is the root of all evil.
Ugh, the worst.
The worst, right? Well, this book dives right into that with chapter 1, money. Instead of seeing money as something negative, it reframes it as a tool, a resource, a symbol of opportunity.
And this point really resonated with me. Think of it like nourishment. Plants need sunlight to grow, right? And our ambitions, our dreams, they need resources to thrive. Money is just a way to tap into those resources.
It's fuel.
It is. And it's not about hoarding it or stuffing it under a mattress. It's about using it to fuel growth, to create a better life, to make a difference.
To align with what the book calls the law of use.
Yes, money thrives when it's circulating, flowing, being put to work.
That really stuck with me. So instead of thinking, I don't have enough, it's about shifting to there's more than enough to go around.
Abundance.
Abundance. But it all starts with our mindset, which is where chapter 2, mental attitude, comes in.
Oh, this chapter. This one blew me away. It talks about the success atmosphere.
The success atmosphere. Tell me more.
It's this idea that we can actually cultivate a mental state that attracts opportunities. Our thoughts, our feelings, even our subconscious beliefs about money, they're shaping the circumstances we encounter. We're practically magnets.
Okay, so we're manifesting our reality. I love it. And you know what else I love? The book gave this really cool example. Did you know that even the unused parts of our brains can be activated when we learn new skills or pursue new passions?
Isn't that amazing?
It's like our minds aren't fixed. We can actually rewire them for success.
We have so much more potential than we realize.
Which brings us to chapter 3, fear and worry.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Let's be real, we've all been there.
Fear is a part of life.
It is, but what's fascinating about this chapter is how it tackles fear head on. It's like fear is the ultimate success killer.
It stops us dead in our tracks.
It does, and it might even attract the very things we're afraid of.
It's like that saying, what you resist persists.
Exactly.
The book talks about how our thoughts, even our visualizations, have a real impact. Dwelling on worries. You're basically sending out signals that invite more of them into your life.
So we have to shift that, but how?
That's the good news. We can. The book suggests replacing those fear-based thoughts with courage, confidence, and positive expectations.
Easier said than done.
It's not always easy, but understanding that fear is counterproductive, that's a huge first step.
I love that. Okay, I have to admit, when I first got to chapter 4, faith, I was a little skeptical.
Really?
I know. I thought, is this getting a little too mystical?
I can see that.
But then the book broke it down in a way that totally clicked.
It is surprisingly practical.
It is.
It talks about 3 levels of faith that are essential for financial success. First, faith in yourself. Second, faith in others, which is crucial for any kind of business, right?
Absolutely.
And finally, faith in the law of success itself. It's about believing in something bigger than yourself.
You know what I realized? We actually do this every single day. We trust systems without even thinking about it. We trust the train conductor to get us where we need to go. We trust that the grocery store will have food on the shelves.
We put faith in those everyday systems all the time.
Exactly. And the book is basically saying extend that same level of trust to the principles of success.
Believe that when we align ourselves with those universal laws, we create a more favorable outcome. Have a little faith in the process.
I love that.
Yeah.
Speaking of untapped potential, chapter 5, latent powers, really struck a chord with me. It's all about those hidden abilities we all have, just waiting for the right moment to come out right.
Right. And sometimes all it takes is a little nudge, a challenge, a new opportunity to awaken those dormant abilities. The book tells this great story about a man who discovers he has a knack for writing, but it takes a series of unfortunate events to force him to find that new path.
Wow. Sometimes those curveballs life throws our way can lead us to discover strengths we never even knew we had. It makes you wonder what we're all capable of.
The book's message is clear. We're far more capable than we give ourselves credit for. We just have to be open to stepping outside our comfort zones and embracing those new opportunities for growth.
That's so true. Sometimes it takes getting pushed a bit to realize what we're really made of.
Totally. And that ties in really well with the next chapter, chapter 6, which is all about ambition. And it's interesting because sometimes ambition gets kind of a bad rap.
Yeah, it's like this dirty word, like it's all about greed. Yeah. Like you said, greed or like getting ahead at all costs, stepping on everyone else.
But this chapter, it really flips that on its head.
Yeah.
It reframes ambition as this powerful driving force, but it's fueled by desire, right? It's fueled by a strong will. And the book makes this point. This is all totally natural.
Okay, I like where you're going with this. I got to hear more.
So the book connects ambition to the natural world.
Mm.
It points out how plants, they reach for sunlight, right?
Of course, yeah.
It's in their nature. They need it to grow.
Yeah.
Humans is kind of the same thing. We're wired to seek growth, to seek fulfillment.
Yeah.
And, we want more. We strive for something greater.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the book drives this point home. Wanting good things for ourselves is not a bad thing. It's actually essential for success.
I love that. So it's about owning those ambitions. It's about not dimming our light for anyone.
Absolutely.
Okay, so speaking of owning it, let's talk about Chapter 7, Desire. This was a big one for me. For the longest time, I felt like I should just suppress my desires, like they were something to be controlled.
Yeah, I could see that.
But this chapter really shifted my perspective. I mean, completely.
How so?
The book calls desire the fire that fuels our willpower, that it's the driving force behind action. It says that when we try to suppress our desires, it's like we're trying to put out a fire. It's futile. So instead of fighting it, the book says we should harness that fire.
Used to propel us forward.
Yes. There's this analogy that I found so powerful. It compares desire to fire heating water.
I love a good analogy.
Me too. This one really stuck with me. So the water, that represents our mind. And when the fire of desire is burning bright, it creates this powerful steam, which represents our willpower.
So the stronger the desire, the more willpower we have at our disposal. Makes sense.
It really does. The book argues that strong desires are a hallmark of successful people. It even says it's not enough to just simply want something.
Right. It's got to be more than that.
You have to cultivate this intense, burning desire that compels you to take action.
And that leads us perfectly into chapter 8, willpower.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to have desires, but to actually act on them.
That takes willpower.
100%. This chapter says that nothing is impossible for the person with unwavering will.
I mean, that's a bold statement.
It is. It is. And of course, the book distinguishes between stubbornness and true willpower. It says true willpower. That's knowing when to push forward and when to adapt.
So how do we develop this superhuman willpower?
Well, like any muscle. Right.
You got to work it out.
Exactly. Willpower needs exercise. The book recommends practices like daily affirmations.
I love those.
Yeah, or surrounding yourself with stories of people with incredible determination.
Yeah.
People who just refuse to give up. It's like giving your willpower a boost.
I love that. Speaking of training our minds, did you know apparently we can reprogram them?
Wait, what? Tell me more.
That's what Chapter 9, Autosuggestion, is all about.
Okay, yeah, I'm intrigued.
It's about the power of our subconscious mind and, how we can reprogram it. We can feed it positive suggestions.
So it's like we can influence our thoughts or behaviors just by consciously choosing what we allow into our minds.
That's exactly it. The book uses this analogy of a die stamping an image onto wax.
Okay, I can see where this is going.
Our thoughts, they actually shape the landscape of our minds.
I love that visual. So how do we do it? How do we start stamping those positive images?
Well, the book says it actually goes beyond just words. It emphasizes visualization, like creating those vivid mental images of ourselves already embodying those qualities we want.
Just like we're acting as if we already possess those qualities, even if we don't quite feel it yet.
Exactly. And by doing that, we're solidifying that belief within our subconscious.
Fake it till you make it. But in this case, think it till you become it. I love it.
Exactly. All right, so get ready for this. Chapter 10, Harmony. I have to admit, this one initially had me raising an eyebrow.
Really? This one seemed pretty straightforward to me.
I know, right? But for some reason, this one felt a little out there, even for me.
Out there, how?
Well, at first glance, it just sounded a little too, like, mystical.
I can see that.
But once again, this book surprised me. And in a good way.
How so?
Well, I think what I appreciate about this chapter is how it connects us to something bigger than ourselves. It talks about aligning with the universal rhythm of nature.
Okay, that does sound a bit out there.
Uh-huh.
But I'm sure the book gives a good explanation.
Oh, it does. And it gave this really cool example that I thought was super interesting.
Take me.
Okay, so you know how musical notes, when played at a certain frequency, can actually shatter glass?
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's always kind of freaked me out, to be honest.
Yeah, it's wild. But anyway, the book uses that as an example of how powerful these unseen forces can be. And it's not just about destructive forces, right? It's about tapping into that universal harmony to amplify our own energy, our own ability to manifest our goals. It's about finding that flow state.
Yeah, where everything just clicks.
Exactly. I've definitely experienced that in my own life. And you know, it's interesting because the chapter goes on to talk about how even in the midst of our busy lives, we can all benefit from moments of quiet reflection.
A little bit of peace and quiet.
Exactly. And I think this is something we often overlook, you know, we get so caught up in the hustle and bustle of everyday life.
We forget to slow down.
Exactly.
Right.
But the chapter really drove home the point that meditation isn't just some mystical practice reserved for monks on a mountaintop.
All right, this is for everyone.
It's about creating space for clarity and insight.
Love that.
Me too. And speaking of creating, let's move on to chapter 11, creation. This one really ties everything together. This chapter was kind of a game changer for me.
Oh, tell me more.
Okay, so this chapter emphasizes that every material achievement, every single one, starts with a mental creation.
Okay, so like think about bridges or skyscrapers,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
They existed in the architect's mind before a single brick was laid.
That's exactly what the book is saying. It's the same with financial success.
We have to create that mental blueprint first.
Exactly. Visualize it, plan for it, truly believe in its manifestation, and then, then we have to back up those dreams with action.
So the power of visualization, but then also the importance of taking action.
Absolutely. Okay, so this next one might seem obvious, but stick with me. Chapter 12, concentration. I mean, we all know concentration is important, right?
Yeah, but I have a feeling this book dives deeper than that.
Oh, it totally does. It takes it a step further. It reframes concentration as a skill.
Something we can develop?
Yes, and refine over time.
I love that.
Me too. The book describes it as focusing our mental energy, but like a laser beam.
Oh, wow. Okay. Intense.
It is. It's about amplifying that power to achieve our goals. And you know what else I thought was cool? It actually offers some really practical advice.
I'm all about practical advice. Lay it on me.
Okay, so it talks about starting with everyday tasks, like just focusing on completing one thing fully before moving on to the next.
I like that. It's about being present.
Yes. Being fully present, fully engaged, and directing our mental energy with intention. Instead of letting it, like, flit around between a million different distractions.
Oh, easier said than done.
It really is. And especially when it comes to financial success, the book emphasizes how important it is to focus on building wealth. You know, like making those smart decisions, taking consistent action, all that good stuff. But instead of just saying, do this, do that, it actually gives you tools to train your mind to stay focused. Because honestly, dwelling on worries, it's not going to get us anywhere. It's that focused action, that's where the magic happens.
So true. All right, so we've got our desires, we're focused, and now it's time for some serious action.
Let's do it. And that brings us to chapter 13, persistence. This chapter is all about seeing things through no matter what. It's about having that staying power.
Oh, that's so important. It's easy to get excited to start a bunch of projects, but actually seeing them through to completion, that's a whole other story.
So true. It really is the difference between dreaming and achieving. Remember that story about the Western hunter we talked about earlier?
The one who is just relentlessly chasing his prey.
Yes. The book refers back to that story and points out how that hunter, once he was fixated on his prey, he wouldn't give up until he succeeded.
That's some serious determination.
Right. And the book argues that this dogged determination, it's actually what sets successful people apart. It's that persistence that transforms willpower into tangible results.
Love that.
Me too. And you know what else? It encourages us to develop that same unwavering commitment. You know, to really hold on to our goals, even when, and let's be real, when we face setbacks, challenges, roadblocks, all of it.
Because, let's be honest, those roadblocks, they're going to pop up. It's inevitable, right?
100%. That's just part of life. And it's definitely part of any journey worth taking. It really is. And it's how we respond to those roadblocks, right?
Yeah.
That's what determines the outcome.
It's not about avoiding the challenges, it's about how we rise to meet them.
Exactly. I love that. It's like that saying, fall down 7 times, get up 8. Which, leads us perfectly to chapter 14, habit. This chapter was a real eye-opener for me because it's all about how much our habits can really hold us back or propel us forward.
Especially when it comes to our finances.
Oh, 100%.
Our habits, they're powerful forces.
They really are.
The book presents them as a bit of a double-edged sword. They can be these tyrants, keeping us stuck in those old patterns, but they can also be these powerful allies, guiding us towards success. And, the best part, we have the power to choose.
We're not just victims of our habits, we are the architects.
Yes, we have the ability to change them.
Love that. So how do we do it? How do we escape those, negative habit traps?
Well, the book stresses the importance of conscious effort.
Yeah.
It's about, really identifying those negative habits and then consciously replacing them with positive ones. Habits that support those financial goals.
Okay, so easier said than done, right? It's not always easy, you're right. But there are definitely things we can do to make it easier. The book offers some really great tips. It talks about the importance of deliberate action, focused attention, repetition, basically creating a system that supports our success. Even when our willpower is running low, those habits are there to keep us on track.
I love that. So, we can literally create habits of saving, of investing, of abundance thinking.
Exactly. And all those small, consistent actions, they build up over time and they can create massive change.
It's incredible, really, how much power we have to shape our own reality. And speaking of claiming our power, chapter 15, claiming your own, this is a big one.
It's a powerful message.
It is. It's a call to action. The book is challenging us to embrace this mindset of deservingness because we are worthy. We're worthy of abundance. We're worthy of achieving our financial goals. We're worthy of living a life we love. But so often, we hold ourselves back.
It's so true. We have these limiting beliefs telling us we don't deserve good things or that it's selfish to want more.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But this chapter, it reminds us that we have every right to claim our share of abundance.
Exactly. It's like we need to give ourselves permission to succeed, to really step into our power and claim our birthright to a fulfilling and abundant life. No more shrinking back, no more playing small.
Exactly. It's time to own it.
I love that energy. And it's interesting because the book actually connects this back to the natural world. It talks about how just as nature rewards those who confidently claim their share,
We have to approach our own abundance with that same confidence.
100%. Okay, so we've talked about the power of our minds, the importance of habits, but what about the actual, making money part? Chapter 16, Making Money, brings the whole conversation full circle.
Because mindset is essential, we've established that, but it's only half the equation.
Exactly. This chapter is all about action. It's about making those smart financial decisions, about leveraging those resources to create lasting financial well-being.
And yes, some of the specific investment strategies might be a little outdated. Times have changed.
Oh, for sure. But honestly, the underlying principles, they're timeless.
Completely agree. Do your research, understand the risks involved, but I think most importantly, surround yourself with people you trust, people who have your best interests at heart.
Exactly, because financial success, it's as much about who you know as what you know.
Right.
Find those mentors, those financial advisors, those experts who resonate with you, who resonate with your values, people you can trust to guide you on your own unique journey.
It's about building those relationships, those networks of support.
So true. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the law of financial success, I'm really curious, what's one action step you're going to take based on what we've discussed today?
Oh, that's a great question. It could be something as simple as, creating a budget for yourself, or maybe setting up a savings plan.
Maybe you're ready to dive into the world of investing, explore those different investment opportunities.
Right. Or maybe it's something more mindset focused. Like maybe you commit to practicing daily affirmations or visualizing those financial goals or really identifying and tackling those limiting beliefs.
Whatever it is, the important thing is to take action. Take that first step.
Momentum builds momentum. Once you start taking those steps, you'll be amazed at how quickly things can shift.
The book is an incredible roadmap, but ultimately, you're in the driver's seat.
You have the power to create the financial future you desire.
Absolutely. So to our amazing listeners, remember, financial success, it's a journey. It's not a destination. It's about building that solid foundation, making those informed decisions, and continuously learning and adapting along the way.
And never underestimate your ability to create the life of your dreams. You're capable of amazing things.
You are. And remember, the world is full of abundance. You're worthy of claiming your share. Until next time, keep diving deep.